There's a financial curse haunting your family for generations, and today you'll discover how Abraham shattered that same curse in just 24 hours. Kathryn Kuhlman uncovered this protocol hidden within the oldest manuscripts. She never wanted to reveal it publicly, but before she died, she whispered it to someone that someone told me. And now, I'm telling you. Have you noticed? No matter how hard you strive, money always seems to slip away, like sand through your fingers. Your family has followed this same pattern for decades. Your parents battled financial struggles. Your grandparents did too, and you're repeating the cycle. This isn't a coincidence. It's an active ancestral curse. But Abraham discovered something, a specific protocol. In just 24 hours, he went from a landless nomad to the wealthiest man of his era. The Bible doesn't offer details, but Kathryn Kuhlman found them. She was praying in Jerusalem in 1962, alone, in a cave where Abraham himself had prayed. Suddenly, she felt a presence. A voice began to dictate, word for word, the exact protocol Abraham used. Kathryn tested it on herself first. Within 24 hours, she received the biggest offer of her career. Then, she tested it with 10 people close to her. All experienced significant financial shifts in a single day. But she was startled by the power of what she'd uncovered. She kept it secret for years. I'm going to explain how it works. But first, you need to understand something. Poverty isn't a lack of money. It's a spiritual force, an entity that feeds on your life energy. The more you fight it, the stronger it becomes. Abraham realized this when he was still called Abram. He worked hard, he planned, he saved, but prosperity always eluded him, until the day God changed his name and revealed the protocol. The protocol has 3 phases. The first phase breaks the curse. The second activates the blessing. The third seals prosperity forever, all within 24 hours. But there's a detail Kathryn discovered. It must be done in a specific order and at specific times. If you reverse the order or miss the timing, it doesn't work. Let me tell you about Sarah, a woman I met in 2020. She'd lost her job, was 3 months behind on rent, and about to be evicted. I taught her the protocol on a Tuesday at 6 in the evening. By Wednesday at 6 in the evening, she called me crying. She'd received a job offer with a salary 3 times higher. A company she didn't even know existed had contacted her, or Roberto, a bankrupt businessman. He owed a significant amount of money. He applied the protocol on a Friday night. By Saturday night, he received an offer to sell a patent he'd registered years ago for precisely the amount he owed, plus some. Coincidence? Impossible. The protocol works because it engages with spiritual laws most people are unaware of. Abraham knew these laws. That's why God chose him to be the father of a prosperous nation. It wasn't by chance. Now, pay close attention. I'm going to reveal the first phase of the protocol, but there's a condition. You must apply it today. If you wait until tomorrow, the window closes. The spiritual energy shifts, and you'll have to wait a full lunar cycle. The first phase is called breaking the ancestral covenant. Every family has spiritual covenants, agreements made by ancestors. In most cases, survival pacts. I accept little so I don't lose everything. I prefer security to abundance. Money is dangerous. These covenants create energetic bonds, like invisible chains that impede the flow of prosperity. Abraham had these same chains until he discovered how to break them. Kathryn found the exact prayer in the manuscripts. But it's not just any prayer. It's a declaration of spiritual warfare against principalities and powers that control money in the region where you live. When Abraham made this declaration, the Bible says he left his land. But in the original Hebrew text, it means he was ripped from his spiritual prison. He broke covenants he didn't even know existed. You will do the same. But first, I need to teach you how to identify if you're under a financial curse. There are specific signs. If you have at least 3 of these signs, the curse is active in your life. First sign, money that disappears without explanation. You count how much you have, and the next day, some is missing. Unexplained expenses, as if the money evaporated. Second sign, opportunities that vanish at the last minute. You're about to close a deal, and something always happens. The person changes their mind. An unforeseen event arises. The timing is never right. Third sign, internal sabotage. You self-sabotage your chances. You miss important deadlines, forget crucial calls. You act self-destructively without understanding why. Fourth sign, repetitive family pattern. Everyone in your family has similar money problems, regardless of effort or education, as if there's an invisible ceiling no one can surpass. Fifth sign, constant exhaustion when you think about money. Just imagining bills to pay makes you feel exhausted. You avoid looking at statements, postpone financial decisions. Your energy drains away when it comes to money. If you recognize at least 3 signs, the curse is active. But don't despair. Abraham had all 5 signs, and he broke them in 24 hours. Now I'm going to teach you the first part of the protocol, breaking the ancestral covenant. But remember what I said, it has to be done today. If you postpone it, the window closes. First thing, choose a time between 6 in the evening and midnight. Prefer odd hours, 7 p.m., 9 p.m., 11 p.m. At these times, the spiritual barrier is weaker. Second thing, be alone. Not even a pet can be in the room. The energy cannot be dispersed. Turn off your cell phone, disconnect the Wi-Fi. You're entering a spiritual dimension. Any interference breaks the process. Third thing, light a white candle. This isn't mysticism, it's quantum physics. The flame creates an electromagnetic field that facilitates access to higher dimensions. Abraham always lit a fire before praying. Now you know why. Fourth thing, take a coin, any coin. Hold it in your left hand. The left hand is connected to the right side of the brain, the side of intuition and spiritual connection. The coin represents your current relationship with money. Now comes the crucial part. You will speak aloud. It cannot be whispered. It cannot be mental. Sound must come from your mouth. The words create vibrational frequency, and it's the frequency that breaks the covenants. This is the declaration Abraham made. Kathryn transcribed it word for word. I, state your full name, declare war against every covenant of poverty made by my ancestors. I break every alliance with scarcity, sealed in the blood of past generations. I annul every agreement that limited my lineage's prosperity. Pause for 10 seconds. Feel the energy shifting. By the power of Jesus' name, I detach myself from every financial curse passed down through my paternal and maternal lines. I sever all spiritual ties to poverty. I burn every contract that keeps me bound to limitation. Pause again. You might sense something changing in the atmosphere. Now, the final part of the first phase. I decree that from this moment forward, Abraham's prosperity is my prosperity. The blessing that was upon him is now upon me. I enter the spiritual lineage of the prosperous, sealed in Jesus' name. Blow out the candle. Put the coin in your wallet. The first phase is complete, but pay attention. You will feel resistance in the coming hours. Strange dreams, negative thoughts about money, the urge to give up. It's normal. The curse is fighting to stay active. Ignore it. Stay strong. Because now comes the second phase, the activation of the blessing. It's in this phase that Abraham's protocol truly reveals its power. It's when prosperity begins to manifest physically. Kathryn discovered that Abraham didn't stop at breaking the curse. He did something more, something that activated such a powerful prospective force that God had to change his name from Abram to Abraham, father of multitudes. But there's a secret in this second phase, a detail few know. It has to do with what Abraham did between midnight and dawn, something the Bible only suggests, but that Kathryn discovered in the ancient texts. He spoke with a specific spiritual entity, not God directly, but the angel responsible for material prosperity, and he made an agreement, a new pact, this time a pact of abundance. This angel has a name and a specific protocol for being contacted. Abraham knew this, that's why he prospered so rapidly. It wasn't luck, it was spiritual strategy. Are you ready to discover how to make this contact? The second phase needs to be done between midnight and 3 in the morning. It's during this time that the veil between dimensions thins. Access to the spiritual realms is easier. Abraham always prayed in the early morning. Now you understand why, but there's specific preparation. You can't just do it anyway. The angel of prosperity only responds to those who are vibrationally aligned. If you're in a low frequency, he won't appear. How to raise your frequency? Kathryn discovered 3 methods Abraham used. They're simple but effective. If you skip any, the protocol won't work. First method, a 4-hour fast before activation. No food, only water. An empty stomach facilitates spiritual connection. The body doesn't expend energy on digestion. All energy is available for the process. Second method, a bath with coarse salt at 11 p.m. The salt removes negative energetic charges accumulated during the day. You need to be energetically clean for contact. Let the salt work for 10 minutes, then rinse with cold water. Third method, listen to the silence for 20 minutes. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Don't meditate, don't pray, just listen to the silence. Your mind will want to think. Ignore it. Focus only on the silence between thoughts. After this preparation, you'll be ready for activation. But let me tell you something Kathryn never publicly shared. She tested the protocol with several people before deciding to keep it secret. One of them was a bankrupt businessman from Detroit. I'll call him Michael. Michael owed over $1 million. He was about to declare bankruptcy, family destroyed, marriage ending. He was desperate. Kathryn decided to teach him as a last resort. Michael did the first phase on a Monday. On Tuesday, he started the second phase. He followed the protocol exactly as Kathryn taught. Between midnight and 3 in the morning, he made contact with the angel of prosperity. On Wednesday morning, the phone rang. It was a lawyer from New York. A distant relative Michael didn't even know had died, and left a $2 million inheritance for him. Coincidence? Kathryn knew it wasn't. Michael paid off all his debts, rebuilt his company. Today he's a multi-millionaire. But Kathryn was startled by the power of what she had discovered. She decided not to teach anyone else. Until she met me. She gave me the complete protocol 3 days before she died. With one condition. She would only teach people who really needed it, and who promised to use it wisely. That's why I'm sharing it with you, because I know you need it. And I trust you'll use it responsibly. Now I'll reveal how to contact the angel of prosperity. His name is Raziel. He's mentioned discreetly in the Bible, but only those who know the codes can identify him. Raziel is responsible for releasing financial resources on the material plane. He has authority over business opportunities, investments, job offers, unexpected inheritances, valuable finds, everything involving a sudden influx of money. Abraham knew Raziel. He made a pact with him. That's why he prospered supernaturally. Cattle appeared out of nowhere. Lands were offered freely. Kings made unexpected proposals, and it wasn't luck. It was the result of the pact. Now you're going to make the same pact. Between midnight and 3 in the morning, after the preparation, light 3 white candles. Form a triangle. You'll be in the center. The candles represent the 3 dimensions that connect during contact: physical, spiritual, and financial. Take a bill. The amount doesn't matter. It can be $1, $10, $100 meant. The important thing is that it's real money. The energy of real money attracts Raziel. Hold the bill in your right hand. Look at the triangle of candles. Speak aloud. Raziel, angel of material prosperity, I invoke you to make a new pact. As you did with Abraham, do with me. Open the doors of financial abundance in my life. Wait silently for a minute. You may feel a presence, a different energy in the atmosphere. It's Raziel manifesting. Continue. I offer my eternal gratitude in exchange for your intervention. I promise to use prosperity wisely, to bless others, to honor the Creator, to expand the kingdom of heaven on earth. Burn the bill in the flame of one of the candles. The fire transforms material energy into spiritual energy. It's the seal of the pact. From this moment on, Raziel is authorized to act in your life. Extinguish the candles in order. First the one on the right, then the one on the left, lastly the one in the center. Keep the burned candles. Don't throw them away. They are sacred objects now. The pact is sealed. Within 24 hours, something will happen. An opportunity, an invitation, a proposal, a discovery. It might seem small at first, but it's the sign that the protocol worked. But there's a third phase, the most important. It's the one that seals prosperity forever, that guarantees abundance becomes permanent in your life. Without it, prosperity might only last a few weeks. Abraham almost made this mistake. He had broken the curse, made the pact with Raziel. He started to prosper, but almost lost everything because he didn't know about the third phase. not until God himself appeared to teach him. It's in this third phase that you discover why God changed Abraham's name, why he became the father of nations, why his descendants multiplied like the stars in the sky. There's a profound spiritual secret in this transformation, and Kathryn discovered what that secret is. But before I reveal the third phase to you, I need to tell you about something that happened to me, something that changed my life forever, and proves that Abraham's protocol works even in the most extreme cases. I was broke in 2018. I had lost everything in a business partnership gone wrong. My house was in foreclosure. My credit cards maxed out. I didn't have money for food. My wife threatened to leave. My children looked at me with shame. That's when I met Kathryn. She was already very old. Few people had access to her. But God opened that door in my life. She looked at me and said, "You are under a third-generation financial curse." I didn't even understand what that meant. She explained that my grandfather had made a spiritual pact during the Great Depression, a survival pact. I accept little to ensure the basics. This pact had been passed down to my father, and from my father to me. Kathryn taught me the complete protocol on a Sunday afternoon. I was so desperate that I did everything exactly as she instructed. First phase on Sunday night, second phase in the early hours of Monday, third phase on Tuesday. On Wednesday morning, my phone rang. It was a publisher from Sao Paulo. He had read an article I wrote years ago. He wanted to buy the rights to turn it into a book. He offered 50,000 reais up front. In 1 week, I received 3 job offers. In 1 month, I had paid off all my debts. In 6 months, I bought a new house. In 1 year, I opened my own company. Today, I am financially free. That's why I know the protocol works. It's not theory. It's personal testimony. But Kathryn warned me about something crucial. The protocol without the third phase is like building a house without a foundation. It might work for a while, but it's not sustainable. Prosperity eventually returns to its previous state. The third phase is what she called the seal of perpetuity. It's what transforms a temporary blessing into a permanent spiritual inheritance. It's what makes prosperity multiply instead of just maintaining itself. Abraham discovered this the hard way. He had prospered rapidly after the pact with Raziel. Livestock multiplied, lands appeared, riches flowed, but he noticed something strange. With every victory, a bigger battle emerged. Envious kings declared war. Rival families stole his herds. Economic crises threatened his prosperity. It was as if spiritual forces were trying to reverse his blessing, and they were. That's when God appeared to Abraham and revealed the third phase, the seal that would make his prosperity indestructible, not only for him, but for his descendants until the 1000th generation. Kathryn found this protocol in the oldest manuscripts. It was written in Aramaic. It took her months to decipher. When she finally understood, she was impressed by the spiritual depth of the revelation. The third phase isn't just about maintaining prosperity. It's about transforming it into a spiritual force that automatically attracts more prosperity, like an energetic magnet that never demagnetizes. But there's a specific timing. The third phase can only be done after you receive the first sign of the second phase. It could be an opportunity that appears, unexpected money, an invitation to a business, anything that represents the answer from the angel Raziel. If you do the third phase before this sign, it doesn't work. If you do it much later, you miss the energetic window. The timing is crucial. Abraham almost missed this window, and it almost cost him all his prosperity. When the sign appears, you have 72 hours to do the third phase. No more than that. 72 hours is how long it takes for spiritual energy to establish itself on the material plane. After that, it solidifies and becomes much harder to shape. The third phase is called the protocol of perpetual multiplication. It's the most powerful of the 3. It's in this phase that you don't just prosper, you become a channel of prosperity, an automatic abundance generator. Abraham became so prosperous after the third phase that kings came to him for financial advice. His strategies became legendary. His ability to generate wealth seemed supernatural, because it was. The third phase activates what Kathryn called the spiritual DNA of prosperity. It's as if your own essence is reprogrammed to attract abundance. No matter what happens externally, you always find a way to prosper. People who have done the third phase report amazing experiences, business ideas that come out of nowhere, opportunities that appear at unexpected moments. contracts that close themselves, partnerships that form naturally. It's as if the universe conspires in favor of your prosperity, but there's a price. The third phase demands something from you. It's not money, it's not material sacrifice, it's something deeper, something that Abraham had to surrender to receive the seal of perpetuity. He had to let go of control. Most people want to prosper while maintaining total control over how prosperity will arrive. They want to determine the source, the timing, the amount, the method. This limits the universe's possibilities. Abraham learned to completely trust in divine wisdom. He stopped trying to control how prosperity would come, and it began to come in ways he had never imagined, faster and more abundantly than his plans allowed. The third phase is about this surrender, about letting go of your limited human knowledge and trusting in infinite spiritual wisdom. It's scary at first, but it's liberating afterward. When you do the third phase correctly, something changes in your energetic vibration. People start to notice, offers appear, partnerships form, money flows, but in ways you never planned. I experienced this myself. After I did the third phase, opportunities began to appear in areas I didn't even know. Investments that succeeded without me understanding how. Businesses that blossomed without much effort on my part. It's as if I'd become a magnet for abundance. But let me warn you about something. The third phase isn't for everyone. It demands spiritual maturity, responsibility, a commitment to purposes larger than yourself. If you only want to get rich to spend on frivolous things, it won't work. Abraham used his prosperity to bless nations, to expand God's kingdom on earth, to be a source of blessing for others. That's why God sealed his prosperity forever. You need to have the same mindset. The prosperity that comes through Abraham's protocol isn't just for you, it's through you. You become a channel, a distributor of divine abundance. If you accept this responsibility, the third phase will transform your life forever. If you don't, it's best to stop here. The second phase will already significantly improve your financial situation. But if you want perpetual prosperity, if you want to become an inexhaustible source of abundance, if you want to leave a legacy of blessing for your children and grandchildren, then you need the third phase. Kathryn made me promise one thing before teaching me, that I would only teach people who demonstrated they were ready for this level of responsibility. People who understood that great prosperity demands great purpose. That's why I need to know. Are you ready for this responsibility? Are you willing to use your future prosperity to bless others, to expand God's kingdom on earth, to be a source of hope for people who are going through what you are going through now? If your answer is yes, then I will reveal to you the third phase, the seal of perpetuity, the protocol that transformed Abraham into the father of prosperity, and that can transform you into the next link in this blessed spiritual lineage. But first, you need to receive the sign of the second phase, that opportunity that confirms that Raziel answered your call. When it appears, come back here, and I will teach you the final protocol, the protocol that seals your prosperity forever. Now I'm going to reveal the third phase, the seal of perpetuity. But be prepared. What you're about to learn changed the history of humanity, literally. Abraham wasn't the only one to receive this protocol. Solomon also knew it. David applied an adapted version. Joseph of Egypt used it during the 7 years of plenty. All the great prosperous people in the Bible had access to this knowledge, but it was lost over the centuries, hidden in ancient texts, protected by secret societies. Kathryn was the first person in over 1,000 years to decipher the complete protocol. The third phase is based on a spiritual law called the principle of cosmic reciprocity. It's simple. The universe returns multiplied everything you give with the right heart, but it has to be at the specific frequency, at the exact timing, with pure intention. Abraham discovered this when God asked him to sacrifice Isaac. It wasn't about killing his son. It was about proving that he was willing to give up what he loved most. When he proved it, God stopped the sacrifice and sealed his prosperity eternally. You're going to do something similar, but adapted for modern times. The third phase has 5 steps. Each step activates a different layer of perpetuity. If you skip any step, the seal won't form. If you do it in the wrong order, you might even reverse the previous phases. First step, choose your offering of perpetuity. It's not money. It's something that represents your deepest material attachment. For Abraham, it was his son. For you, it could be a family heirloom, an object that has sentimental value, something you really don't want to lose. The universe needs to know that you are willing to give up anything for perpetual prosperity, not because it's going to take it from you, but because it needs to be sure of your commitment. Second step, 24-hour fast. It begins at sunset one day and ends at sunset the next day. Only water, nothing else. The fast purifies your energy field, removes interferences that could block the seal. Abraham always fasted before making important decisions. Jesus fasted for 40 days before beginning his ministry. Moses fasted before receiving the commandments. Fasting is a gateway to higher dimensions. Third step, the declaration of perpetuity. At the end of the fast hour, when the sun is setting, hold your offering of perpetuity. Look at the sky. Speak aloud. Creator of the universe, I declare my total dependence on your infinite wisdom. I let go of my limited control. I give you this symbol of my material attachment. In return, I ask that you seal my prosperity forever. Pause for a minute. Feel the energy shifting around you. Continue. I promise to use my future prosperity to expand your kingdom on earth, to bless those in need, to be a channel of your abundance. May my life be a testament to your prospective power. Now comes the hardest part. You need to bury your offering of perpetuity in the earth, in nature, far from your home, as a symbol that you have truly let go. As you bury it, say, just as this offering returns to the earth, my prosperity takes root in eternity. What I plant in faith, I reap in multiplied abundance. It is sealed. Amen. Fourth step, the confirmation vigil. Go back home. Don't eat yet. Stay awake all night, in prayer, in contemplation, in anticipated gratitude. This vigil is crucial. It's when the spiritual seal is formed. During the vigil, you may have visions, daydreams, sudden business insights, ideas you've never had before. Write everything down. These are direct messages about how your prosperity will manifest. Abraham had a vision during his vigil. He saw the stars in the sky multiplying, and a voice said, "So shall your descendants be, and so shall your prosperity be, uncountable as the stars." Fifth step, the first act of perpetual generosity. The next day, when the sun rises, break your fast. But before eating anything for yourself, feed someone else. It could be a homeless person, a needy neighbor, someone in your family who is struggling. The important thing is that it's the first act after the seal. It shows the universe that you understand the principle. Your prosperity is not for accumulating, it's for circulating, for blessing. When you perform this first act of generosity, the seal of perpetuity is activated. From that moment on, you are connected to the infinite flow of universal abundance forever. But let me tell you about someone who did the third phase and had an extraordinary experience. I'll call her Mary. She was a teacher. She earned little. She supported 3 children alone. Emily aced to the first and second phases in a single weekend. On Monday, she received a proposition, a private tutoring offer, paying triple her current salary. She accepted. When she was certain it was the sign she needed for the second phase, she proceeded to the third. She fasted. She buried a ring, a family heirloom passed down from her grandmother. She held a vigil. At daybreak, she bought breakfast for a family she knew in a low-income neighborhood. A week later, the school where she tutored offered her a partnership in the company. Within 6 months, she was a partner. A year later, she'd opened 3 branches. Today, she's one of the most successful educators in the region. But the most astonishing thing happened afterward. Emily began having constant business ideas, investments that consistently paid off, partnerships that seemed to materialize out of thin air. It was as if she'd become a magnet for opportunity. This is the power of the third phase. You don't just prosper once. You become an inexhaustible source of prosperity. But there's something more that Kathryn discovered. Something she called the Abraham effect. People around those who've completed the third phase also begin to prosper, as if the blessing were contagious. Emily's employees started receiving better offers. Her children secured scholarships. Even her neighbors reported financial improvements. This perpetual prosperity creates an energetic field that benefits everyone around. Abraham had the same experience. Everyone who worked for him prospered. His cities flourished. Even the kings of the region saw their economies improve after making deals with him. That's why God called him the father of nations, not just because he had many children, but because his prosperity generated prosperity for multitudes. You can have the same effect. Be a source of blessing for your family, your friends, your community, your city. This is what happens when you activate the seal of perpetuity. But there are some important things you need to know before undertaking the third phase. First, the protocol is irreversible. Once the seal is activated, there's no turning back. Your life will change forever, for the better, but it will change. You'll attract different people, different opportunities, different responsibilities. Second, you will be tested. After the third phase, situations will arise that will test your commitment to generosity. People will ask for help. Opportunities to invest in social causes will present themselves. The universe wants to be sure you maintain a right heart. Third, your prosperity may grow rapidly, very rapidly. You need to be psychologically prepared. Many people become lost when life changes too quickly. Have the wisdom to manage these changes. Fourth, you will attract envy. People will question your sudden prosperity. They'll invent theories, spread gossip. It's normal. Abraham faced this too. Stay focused on your purpose. Don't justify yourself to anyone. Fifth, you will feel a greater responsibility, not just to your family, but to larger causes, social projects, expanding God's kingdom. This is the price of perpetual prosperity, and it's a price worth paying. Now I want to tell you about a mistake many people make. They complete the 3 phases, prosper rapidly, and then relax. They think they no longer need to worry about spiritual principles, that the blessing is automatic forever. It's not like that. The seal of perpetuity guarantees you'll always have opportunities to prosper, but you still need to be faithful to the principles. You still need to be generous. You still need to maintain a right heart. Abraham maintained his principles until his death. That's why his prosperity never diminished. Even during regional economic crises, he prospered. Even during wars, his wealth increased. Because he was protected by the seal. You can have the same protection, the same guarantee of continuous prosperity, but you have to maintain the commitment. Let me give you some practical guidelines for after the third phase. First guideline: donate at least 10% of everything you receive, no matter how much. 10% always. It can be to church, charity, social causes. The important thing is to keep the flow of generosity active. Second guideline: invest in knowledge constantly. Books, courses, mentorship. Perpetual prosperity demands continuous growth. You will receive opportunities that require new skills. Third guideline: keep a gratitude journal. Write down 3 things you're grateful for daily. Gratitude keeps your vibration high, and high vibration attracts more prosperity. Fourth guideline: help other people prosper. Teach what you've learned. Share opportunities. Make connections. The more you help others prosper, the more your own prosperity multiplies. Fifth guideline: never use your prosperity to harm someone. Don't be greedy. Don't be dishonest. Don't exploit anyone. The seal of perpetuity can be revoked if you misuse the blessing. Abraham followed these principles naturally. That's why God chose him. Not because he was perfect, but because he had the right heart, the right mindset, the right purpose. You can have the same heart, the same mindset, the same purpose, and receive the same blessing. But there's one last thing I need to tell you, something Kathryn discovered in her final years of life. She was studying even older texts, manuscripts known to few historians. She discovered that Abraham's protocol wasn't created by Abraham. He received it from someone older, from Melchizedek, the king of Salem, the priest of the Most High God. Melchizedek knew spiritual laws that few humans have ever known. He taught Abraham not only the protocol of prosperity, but also how to transmit this knowledge to future generations. That's why you're hearing this today. That's why I had access to this knowledge through Kathryn. That's why she decided to break her silence before she died. It's all part of a larger plan, a plan to raise a generation of prosperous people who will transform the world. People who will use their abundance to solve problems, to end poverty, to expand God's kingdom on earth. Perhaps you are part of this generation. Perhaps your future prosperity has a purpose you haven't yet seen. Perhaps God wants to use you to bless thousands of people. There's only one way to find out: by applying the complete protocol, doing the 3 phases in the correct order, with the right heart, with the right purpose. If you do this, your life will never be the same. In 24 hours, you will start to see changes. In a week, the changes will accelerate. In a month, you will be living a completely different reality. But it all depends on you. I've given you the knowledge, and I've explained the protocol. I warned you about the responsibilities. Now the decision is yours. You can continue living as you always have, struggling with scarcity, working hard for little money, watching opportunities slip away, repeating the patterns of your family. Or you can break the cycle, activate Abraham's protocol, step into the spiritual lineage of prosperity, become a channel for divine abundance, leave a legacy of blessing for your children. The choice is yours. But remember what Kathryn always said, opportunities like this don't come twice in a lifetime. When God opens a door, you have to walk through it. If you don't, it may close forever. This is your door, this is your moment. This is your opportunity to change everything. Abraham's protocol is in your hands. The knowledge that changed history is available to you. Perpetual prosperity is within your reach. Now it all depends on your courage, your faith, your determination to break the limitations of the past and build a future of abundance. Abraham had that courage. Kathryn had that faith. I had that determination. And my life changed completely. Now it's your turn. Apply the protocol, complete the 3 phases, activate the seal of perpetuity, enter the lineage of the prosperous, and prepare to witness the supernatural power of divine prosperity transforming your life forever. The time is now. The opportunity is this. The protocol is real. Your perpetual prosperity has begun.